Lake St. Clair, trip 2 in the last 3 weeks. Hey guys, here in the home studio doing some editing for this video, and I realized I don't have a lot of commentary for this video because it was all a great time for me. I took myself, my dad, and Dusty Smith Jr. up to Lake St. Clair for 4 days, and then on the way home we stopped and fished with Captain Chuck Dotson of Get Hooked Charters for 3 days walleye fishing with some of my other family, my cousin Josh, my uncle Keith, and Josh's brother-in-law Jamie. We had an amazing time. I didn't do a whole lot of commentary because I was just wrapped up in the moment. We were taking a trip. My dad's first time to Lake St. Clair. He probably hasn't caught a smallmouth in probably 30 years or longer. Dusty has caught a few smallmouth and nothing really huge, so I took him to the Holy Land. This very first video you're going to see is going to be a 2-day trip of Lake St. Clair. We were there for, actually you'll see a day and a half in the first video, and then the second video you'll see later on in the week is going to be the second 2 days of Lake St. Clair. Lake St. Clair didn't show out like it should or like it could, but we still caught 104 fish over 3.5 days of fishing Lake St. Clair. One day the weather got a little crappy, rained a little bit. We ended up catching the biggest fish collectively over that day. A little over 20.5 pounds in our best 5, which wasn't stellar. But right now, I don't have spotlight on my boat. I don't have great graphs, so we were just fishing like I know to be fishing, and that is, if I saw a bed, I would throw on it. About probably 60% of the beds we saw still had about 60% of the beds that we actually came across still had fish on them. I didn't fish a lot of beds because I don't have spot lock, and I didn't want to take those fish away from the beds, but I did catch a few off beds that were close when the water was calm enough. But the biggest player for this week, and I don't have the actual worm in here, but this is a TRD, or this is a Ned rig, and you can see this one's actually got lead in the eye of it. But this is a 1/4 ounce finesse. It's a Midwest finesse jig head from Do It Molds. 1/4 ounce is a game player up there. I like the heaviest one that I can get. 1/4 ounce is definitely it. Anything smaller than that, I don't like at all. Matter of fact, Kyle, in the last video you guys saw, wore me out using the 1/4 ounce, and I had 3/16 ounce, so literally a 1/4 of an ounce difference made all the world of difference. He got 30, I got 8. So I started throwing the 1/4 ounce, but we threw 2 different baits at Lake St. Clair to catch them. That was the Ned rig, or the Midwest finesse jig head that I poured myself in a Do It mold. You can buy them. Tackle Box in South Point has some really good ones too. But we're using the Z-Man TRD worm. And the 2 greatest collars for us for this past week was pink for me. My dad and Dusty were using green pumpkin and chartreuse together. It's a green pumpkin and chartreuse worm. Caught a lot of fish. Dusty ended up catching the biggest one. And you guys know that I have a thing that if you fish with me, I set I guess it's a trophy size fish for that fishery, and that fishery at Lake St. Clair, I think a 6-pounder is an absolute trophy for that. So if you catch a fish that's 1 pound or below that, so 5 pounds or bigger, if I set that at 6 pounds, you win a pair of Solar Bat sunglasses of your choice from my collection. And Dusty Smith actually pulled that off. He got one 5 pounds, 3 ounce, or 5.02 or 5.03, which is 1 pound less than the 6 pound limit that I set. And then won himself a new pair of Solar Bat sunglasses on myself and Gary Nesty, the owner of Solar Bat sunglasses. So you guys will see that in the second video. The second bait that we used that was a player in this trip was a drop shot. I was using a drop shot both with the Berkeley flatworms, was a really good player for me. And I used the Dream Shot, which is really good. I really like that bait on there a lot. Caught a lot of fish on that. But the Drop Shot and the Ned Rig were the 2 biggest players when it comes to catching fish in St. Clair for me this past week. So this video right here is going to be the first day and a half of the trip. The next video you're going to see in a few days is going to be the second 2 days, and then there's going to be a 3rd video from this series showing the walleye that we caught with Get Hooked Charters, Captain Chuck Dotson and Captain Scott Mowry on their rigs in Lake Erie. So, without further ado, day 1 and day 2 of Lake St. Clair trip with my dad and Dusty Smith Jr. Let's get it. Forge Cove, see what's going on down there. Bad when I gotta catch the fish on your own rod.